best way for a startup to be noticed by VCs in competitive industries is firstly to have a really good understanding of your market. Telling us that you have absolutely no competitors and no one even comes close to you as a very early stage company is an immediate red flag and something that likely that most VCs will pick up. Secondly, we want to understand not only who the competition is, but why you're going to beat that competition. What unfair access do you have to the market, or what unfair access do you have to customers, which means that you're going to fly while they're going to fall.
So the biggest tip I can give you here is to do your research on your investor that you're considering approaching. So in a similar manner to when a VC does diligence on a prospective company they're considering investing in, so too should a startup understand an investor's remit. They should know basic things like the check size that investor is capable of writing, the geographies that investor operates across, the verticals that are of particular interest to that investor, and the stages that investor operates across. I still get a huge amount of cold inbound from companies that simply don't understand our mandate, and we would automatically be prevented from investing in these companies. Another great way of reaching out to VCs is through warm intros. So if you're working with investors, I would really ask them to help you facilitate those intros and use your network to help facilitate those warm intros to VCs.
So for us, because of the stage we're investing in, it's some sort of tangible evidence of product market fit. So that sort of validation from external sources outside the management team that the customer wants to use a product or is using a product. That could be contracts, it could be media or publications showing that there is a desire there, or it could be actual revenue of actual utility. And the other side of it is, proof points around that there is some protection for what they do. They have a competitive advantage, and other companies or other businesses won't instantly be able to replicate as soon as they start to grow. It's something that keeps them slightly separate from the crowd.
The best way for startups to attract the VC's attention is by being clear and calm about what makes them different. Founders often try too hard to impress, but clarity always wins. If you can tell me in one clean sentence why your idea matters, I will remember it. Quiet confidence stands out more than loud enthusiasm.
Well, in my opinion, the best way for a startup to be noticed by VCs is to ultimately show traction that others just can't ignore. I actually believe the best founders don't chase VCs, they actually attract them. And at Korra Ventures, we typically notice founders who are crystal clear about their market, have either some kind of unique wedge in it, whether they've worked in that profession before or have deep expertise or knowledge, and can show early signs of some kind of product market fit, even if it's rough. That could be something as strong as, newsletter signups or a early revenue, no matter how small, does signal that you're solving a real problem. And in a crowded space, it's also how you tell your story that matters. If you can actually ultimately cut the jargon, make it clear why now, why you, and why this market is still up for grabs, I think that's ultimately what cuts through the noise and gets you noticed.
The best way for a startup to be noticed is by being noticed. It sounds obvious, but one of the biggest skills of a great founder is their ability to network, their ability to tell a story, and the ability to be memorable. And so as you start getting out there with your idea, people talk, right? When you meet a VC, they'll talk. If you meet a potential angel, they'll talk. If you talk to customers, they'll talk. If you talk to people who write about technology or are well-known bloggers, posters, people talking about your space, they will talk about you. So if you've got a great story, if you've got an amazing way of telling that story, if you're clearly an amazing technical person who's solving a very big challenge, and you're great at selling your idea, that will get noticed. How do you get in front of a VC? Well, the reason why VCs don't take blind intros is because one of those great skills is testing, can you get in front of people who are typically quite hard to get in front of? That comes from networking, that comes from asking lots of people to help you, that comes from being able to sell your idea that people get excited to help introduce you. And then when you do get in front of someone who can make that introduction, what you want is to be able to portray that story, but also portray your ambition. Ambition is actually quite a underused skill, and it immediately marks out great founders, people who are excited to want to introduce people from the not so great. And you'll often hear like, oh my God, I just met this incredible founder doing this huge vision, crazy, so technically good. They somehow managed to get in front of XYZ person, and they'll be telling you about it. And then that person becomes in demand to get in front of them.
In a competitive industry, the best way to get your deck to stand out to a VC is to make it look a little different. Most decks follow a very similar formula, which is important to have a good structure, but have something in there that grabs your attention. Is it the origin story? Is it the way you start? Have a big hook. I see dozens of decks a week, and the ones that stand out are the ones that look and feel a little different.